Hi guys, just before I start into the whole palaver of my whole ins and outs, um, this is going to be a long video. I hope that if you're struggling with anything at all, sexuality wise, identity wise, that you watch it and find out from my story that things can be bad, but they always get a whole lot better. So please enjoy the video and thank you for watching.
Growing up isn't easy. Scared of every move you make. How much can a young girl take? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the worst? Which of them all? 20 seems like years away. It's not my town. The girl in you goes, but the friend will stay. Growing up isn't easy. Wish the time would hurry by. Will I ever learn to fly? Growing up isn't easy.
Never drag.
Anyone know why?
Sunny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sunny.
Hola, ¿dónde está que sombre? Lo chico en the sombre. Hello, all my little cherubs out there in this global universe that is getting ever smaller. It is me, your Friday hostess with the mostess, Lady Portia de Monte. Well, have we got a fun and exciting week for you guys? It's all about growing up gay. So, I've so much to get through in this here that I'm just going to whiz through it. I've had a wonderful, fabulous week as always, so I shan't bore you with my whole ins and outs of what I have been up to, but it has been great, great fun, so it has. So, getting down to it, this week's hot topic was chosen by my wonderful and gorgeous sister from another mister. Yes, it is my southern friend, Blanad McGee, and what a fun girl she is, ladies and gents. So I shan't bore you this week because I've lots to get through. I want to tell you how great growing up gay was for me, so I shan't bore you with all the details of my week, but they have been tres exciting and I've lots of fun, blah blah blah, as always. Tell us something new, Portia. So I shall tell you something new. I shall tell you all about growing up gay for me. And I love this topic actually so much. It's a great topic because I'd like to share what it was like for me growing up gay. The story that is my life. Well, it was a wonderful, bright and sunny day in March, and my mother felt a little pang in her tummy, and she thought, is it a hunger pang, or am I in labour? 5 minutes later, I was born. I came out of the womb, kicking and screaming with a top hat. I was so excited to get into the world that my mum didn't even make it to the labour ward. I literally shot out of her. And I was like, I'm here! There's no business like show business. Quickly, give me a bath. So, yeah, I came into the world very excited to be here. So as a child growing up gay, I know some people have said that they didn't really know that they were gay or what gay was or anything like that. For some reason, right, I definitely think that I've lived in this world before. Actually, I'm really sure I've lived in this world before, because as a child, I basically was very old head on young shoulders. So I knew what gay was when I was in P1 and P2, which would be like your junior schools and things like that there. So you go to nursery and then you start into the education, oh, I can almost say that. That's easy for you to say, not me, honey. Education system. So P1 is basically, you go to nursery and then you hit the education system. So I knew that I was gay even then. I knew what the difference, I knew that boys and girls are supposed to fall in love, but I fancied boys, which is, don't ask me how I know this, it was there in built in me. In nursery school and in primary school, oh, sorry, somebody loves me, honey. Hi! So, as I was saying there, I always used to dress up I was always allowed to dress up. I was never discouraged. And it wasn't like boys wear blue and girls wear pink and blah, blah, blah. There was a wee bit of that there, probably because it was the 80s and it was like kind of the dumb thing to do. But I had a very forward thinking mother who was great. And I would go to nursery school and come back, and I would set up tea parties, and she'd let me get dressed up, and I'd have tea parties and set all my teddy bears in the tea parties, and she'd let me play dress up. So I would have these tea parties. I'd go and get mum. I would come, bring her in and tell her, now you entertain the guests while I go and get changed. So I used to make mum sit in the living room, entertain my teddy bears and things like that there while I did a costume change, came back down and then sent mum about her business and things like that there. So that was great. And my mum allowed me to dress up as long as I didn't wear her good shoes, which are these red stilettos. And so that was fine. Although I always wanted to wear the red stilettos, and when she was out, I used to like run around the upstairs in them. So my cousins would ask me what I wanted to be whenever I grew up, and I always said that I wanted to be a bridesmaid. So it's not really funny that like as a child I was like, I just want to be a bridesmaid. Some people were like, I want to be a footballer, and I'm like, bridesmaid. So I had been a bridesmaid for somebody with another story, which is hilarious. It's a 20-minute story, so I'm not even going to go into it. And then I was almost bridesmaids for my sister, but unfortunately in the forward-thinking world that we live in, organised religion still over here has a little bit of a say, but not in my world or my life. But I bowed out very gracefully of being bridesmaids for my sister, so there was no hoo-ha or kick-up, because in some people's eyes, Portia is good enough to come out and have a bit of fun with, but she's not good enough to sit in a church with. So less said the better. Moving on. My dad was also very good in the sense that he used to go on these wee trips, and he tried, dear love my poor father, he tried everything that he could to get me into like sport and boy things. And he brought my brother and I to wrestling. Now my brother was a solid child, and I was this little dainty waif. I had blonde hair, blue eyes. I got away with absolute murder because I was so adorable as a child. Like I look back at photographs, I'm like, oh, I love you, you're gorgeous. Why don't you still look so lovely? So the funny thing was, he'd bring me to like football, and I was like, I can't play football, Dad, unless I have the whole outfit. So he went and got me the whole outfit, the matching top and shorts and socks and football boots and blah blah blah, because he wanted me to play football with the Cubs. And I went round to play football once because I had the whole outfit. And I loved the football boots because it sounded like you were in stilettos. So, like, I would tip a tap, and Dad was like, you can't wear your football boots outside. And I'd be like, no, I love them, Dad. I really, really love them. But it was because I used to pretend that I was in stilettos. So I did 1 week, and I was like, this isn't really for me. And then the second week, I got hit. The ball got kicked my direction, and I got hit by the ball, and it was really sore and it stung. So then when the ball was coming at me this way, I went down that pitch, and then vice versa. So I was always a bit nervy of the football ever coming my directions, to the point where my PE teacher said that Marcus is as much use on a football pitch as an ashtray on a motorbike. That's when teachers could have a sense of humour writing reports. But I remember as a child my dad going off on like a trip and coming back, and he had brought us all these toys and things like that there, but he bought me an iron and an ironing board that I could pretend to iron and stuff with mum, which was really, I loved it. I was like, oh my god, I love this, I can keep house. So my parents were really cool in letting me just kind of express myself in the way that I want. Dad is a bit like, well, it's a boy, we should let him be a boy type thing, and my mum was like, he'll be what he'll be type thing. And then we went to this private German school, and it was like a big hippie school, and they were all like very free love, and you called the teachers by their first names. It was all about self-expression. So hello, Liberace, it was sensational. I ran about this big manor house, because it was in this big manor house with outbuildings and things, and I just thought that I was the best thing since sliced pan, and I could dress up and I could run through the forest and everything like that there, because our playground was a forest. It was exciting times. My parents once had this Christmas party, and you know, as children, you all have to stand up and tell a little poem or tell a rhyme, or at Christmas, so it was like sing a carol. So all the little children have to like put on a show. I slipped upstairs. I was like, I can't listen to the other kids. I have to go and get myself ready for my show. So I went upstairs. I got head to toe dressed up in one of my sister's outfits. Came downstairs, I had a little clip and all in my blonde hair, and I came to the hall door. And I rap a tap tapped, and my dad sort of half opened. But I said, introduce me, introduce me. So they were like, ladies and gentlemen, please take a step back and introducing. And I burst in and I started doing Betty Boo. And I was going, you can feed me bread and water or a great big bale of hay, but please don't take my boo-boo-boo-doop away. And I used to do the whole routine. And they always, always pick on me. They never, never let me be. I'm so sad and lonely, awfully sad, and the long time since you've been bad. And oh, whatever it is. But it was so funny. The expression. Now, I can only imagine these Methodist Presbyterians all sitting. Everybody else, every other child has sung a nursery rhyme or like a hymn. And I come in, a boy, dressed up in a wee girl's clothes, singing Betty Boo. So everyone's like, oh! And then, if that wasn't bad enough, the next year, they kind of caught on to me. And I was going to go off and get changed again. But they said, no, no, no. You're not allowed to leave the room. So they didn't let me leave the room. But I then said, well, can I have a chair as a prop? So I got a chair in the centre of the room. And I got myself all sort of placed. And again, everyone is singing hymns, nursery rhymes, telling little poems. So I get in the middle of the floor. And I take my pose. And I start singing a song. And it goes... You light up another cigarette and I pour the wine. Da-na-na. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's starting to get light. And I'm right where I wanna be, losing track of time. And I wish that it was still last night. Again, they were all like going, what in the hell is this child on? I was singing a song about cigarettes and alcohol and being in bed with your lover and things like that there, and they're all just going, oh, maybe next time let him out of the room. So as a child, like, and then I because I have dyslexia, I had to move on to a mainstream, not a mainstream, I had to go to like a different type of school, like a more structured type of school where they could cater for my dyslexia. So that was great. I had a wonderful time, really, really wonderful time there. And like the happiest times of my life. It wasn't far from my grandparents and I would go home to their house and just have so much fun and joy and happiness like in my primary school years, like junior school. Also like a very cool and fun grandparents. Like for example, my nanny used to go and get her hair done in this little hairdressers, and I used to want to have curly hair because I had straight blonde hair and I always wanted to have this curly hair, but alas, I didn't have it. And Nanny took me into her hairdressers and put me in rollers, and I sat under the hairdryer like this little boy, just thinking I was the best thing since sliced pan because I was under the hairdryer. It was amazing. And my sister did ballet and tap as well, and I can remember going to the ballet and tap teacher saying, listen, I would love to join the dance class and things. And I mean, if you didn't, I wouldn't mind having to wear a tutu, because obviously you might not have any boys' outfits, so I'd be happy enough to wear a tutu. And she was like, no, I'm very sure we could probably find you regular outfit. And I was going, maybe not. I want to wear a tutu. Then I hit secondary school, which is you go from primary into secondary. And I had a complete culture shock to my life. And it was the most traumatizing time of my life. It was awful. On some degrees, it was awful. So I went from a very lovey, joyful, and everybody's nice, everybody's kind, everyone's very friendly, life, to a school, again, recommended to my parents by the Education Library Board, so I lay no blame with them. But I went from a place where everyone was kind and thoughtful of each other to a school that was made up of 5 council estates. Now, I had never really experienced the kind of like rough and ready children. I didn't think children swore. I didn't think that children were disrespectful to their parents, and kind of everything that adults said was right. Now, The thing about it is, I went here and I was the lamb to the slaughter. I was blonde, blue-eyed, delicate, politely spoken. Again, I was a lot older than my years, so I was able to have full conversations with teachers and adults and use big words in the right places and all that type of thing. So I was so alien to the school were so alien to me that for 5 years I I had the worst, like literally the worst bullying you can think of, and not from a group, but from a school, because they'd never experienced anyone like me in their entire lives. Not only was I dainty and effeminate, but I was very forthright in my thoughts, and I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was about, and I was very confident and comfortable within myself. I knew that I was gay, but I knew that they wouldn't understand what gay is. I didn't want to tell anybody that I was gay until I was sort of out of the house type thing. So I couldn't. I was called gay boy, gay lord. I went through some of the most horrific bullying that you could imagine. Like I would walk down the corridors in between classes, and as I said, it was a whole school. So I was a tirade of constant abuse, walking through corridors, walking down a corridor and just being spat on by like 7 or 8 different people at a time. And I remember being like, they opened the doors and they kind of locked me in behind the doors in the corner for an entire break time, and people spat on me and threw drinks over me, and like it was just. But the thing about it was, I was a slightly like uppity child. I was kind of I kind of thought that I was a lot better than them, which, do you know what? I put my hands up. I'm 100 times better than half of those kids that were in that school. So because I had this kind of snobbiness against me, or against them, I kind of like, how dare these people? I cannot wait to make a success of my life, and they will rue the day. So that kind of got me through it. But like I would say things to my parents, and my parents didn't get it, because they would say things like, stand up for yourself, hit the kids back, and they'll not touch it. If you hit them once. But I wasn't. I was a lover, not a fighter. Always been a lover, not a fighter. And that wasn't in my nature to be like that. So I took the beatings and I took the punchings and things. And I remember one time they threw what do you call it? A firework, and threw me into this room with the firework. The firework went off and missed me, but I could have been maimed. Do you know that type of way? A head flushed down toilets. Oh, it was awful. And it really, I had this really fun, chirpy personality, and it kind of chipped away a bit about that. And I put on like 3 or 4 stone, and it was terrible. And it was quite traumatic at a time. And I did at a point, on a few occasions, sort of think, if I just died, I could it would be fine, and I could go to heaven, and I'd be great. But the thing is, I knew that I wasn't going to die any kind of like regular way. So I would had to have committed suicide. And although I had thought about that, and as I said in previous videos, that like I loved my family so much, and what would have made me so sad is that I actually would never have seen them again. And then I sort of thought how upset and how heartbroken and sad they would be that I wasn't here, that I was dead. And then some family member may have found me, and so if you ever have those thoughts in your head, what you have to think about, it's not you, it's the aftermath. Someone finds you, you have to be identified, your family don't understand what has happened, and they're left with guilt. They almost feel that it's their fault. And all these things came through my mind again, older head and a younger body. But I just thought, I could never put my family through that. I am going to stick this out. Regardless of what happens to me, I am determined to do better, and I will prove to my teachers that they're a shower of shites. And all of you horrible children, I will prove that I am better than all of you. And the thing is, I'm doing very well for myself. And for somebody who is dyslexic, who can hardly read or write, I'm doing incredibly well for myself. And something in the back of my head just kept saying, it's only it's only a small period of your life. It's only a small time. And once you pass it, then it's going to be great. And I got through it. I struggled through it, but I got there. And I mean, bullying is nothing like it was back then, because back then kids got away with it. They don't get away with it now because there's education in schools and there's bullies, and like if you came home and my because my parents didn't quite understand it, because my other two brothers and sister were fine and they went to a different type of school where people just didn't think to bully other people. And it was what I'd like to sort of say is that it was horrific. It was terrible. And if there anyone going through this, speak to family members. My mum and dad now, when I tell them about some of the things that I got up to, that they feel so bad, but they weren't to feel. You can't blame parents because they didn't know, and I didn't really tell them anything because firstly I was ashamed that I was getting called gay boy or gay lord, because then I sort of thought that they'd look down and then they would find out that I was gay because this is what I'm getting called and things. So there was a lot of shame with it as well. But my determination got me through to come out the other side. And there was a lot of teachers in that school that should not have been teachers because they form children's early years and early thoughts. So I'd gone from a primary school where they really embraced everything, drama, speech, all, and well done, you really are good at this, excel in it, to a school where I then was completely crushed. I had bullied by a school, bullied by teachers, been made to feel small by teachers, but there I had my outlets because in my area and things like that, there was lots of girls and I would play with them, but the boys, I was bullied at home as well. But again, I didn't want anyone to know this. I didn't want my mum and dad to think bad of me. So I had terrible times. Like I used to be scared to walk up to the shops or round the corner. My mum used to always go, will you go up to the shops and get me such and such? Or will you go and get me that? And I'd be like, no, I'd be scared. But it was awful. Terrible time. 5-year period, terrible time, right? So all I'm saying is, once you get through that, life is amazing. Life is absolutely great. But while in that 5-year period, I had my little outlet of drama. I joined this great drama company. It was called North Down Youth Drama, and the girl taking it, Patricia Irvine, was just absolutely amazing. I got some really great and wonderful girlfriends in it, and we're still now we don't all live in the same countries anymore, but we're still very close. And I just like to say to Beth Rogers out there, you are très magnifique. I love you so much. She was the first girlfriend that I came out to. Now, I never really had to come out because I've never been in, so I never really had like this big dramatic coming out story or anything like that there. So I told Beth, I think we were probably either 14 or 15 whenever I joined, and I said to her, I'm gay, and she goes, yeah, that's fine. And we sat on a beach on swings, and it was lovely because we were sitting on the swings and it was sunset. We were at the beach, and I told her, and she was like, that's really great and cool. And her and all her girlfriends then turned a bit gothy, and we would go to goth bars and they would come with me to gay bars and everything. It was so exciting. I remember Beth and I going to like a gay bar and being very excited, and we were in this gay bar and we met somebody from a mutual friend in this gay bar, and you're like, hey, what up, Nathan? And he just completely shunned us and like was like, oh, I'm only here because of I'm at an after do or something like that there. Oh, I'm going home. So we asked him, could he give us a lift home? And he said no. Well, he said yes, and he dropped us at the train station so he could go back to the gay bar. Then I met this hairdresser, and he was called Ricardo, and he went to the same school that I did, but he left a couple of years. I think he left the year I started. So he saw me in my school uniform one day, and when I was in getting my hair cut, and he goes, did you go to that school? And I was like, yes, I did. So him and I got friendly, and then once I got to about 16 or 17, he said, listen, do you want to come round to my house for some drinks, and we'll go up to Belfast and whatever, and we'll go out and things like that there. So he went out. We went out 1 week, and he met his boyfriend. We went out another week, and I met mine. I got this boyfriend, and he was 29, 30 at the time, and I was 16. It was all very exciting, and we dated, and we had lots of fun for a couple of years. But the problem is when you're young, and then this is my first relationship, and I was like, oh, I should really try to make this work. and I should really have binned him a lot quicker. But he was a lovely guy, and I mean, if I was meant anybody to have brought me out sort of myself and on the gay scene and encouragement, he was very good because there are some head melters. So that was nice that I'd sort of had that little time with him, and he had a lovely family, and I was very embraced by his family. Then my mum, because I was so theatrical, and like I literally was Liberace as a child. This is why I think I am a reincarnation. I mean, look at me, Liberace to the hilt. And my mum asked me, was I gay? And I was like, no, I'm not gay. Fur collar. No, I'm not gay, darling. How very dare you? And she goes, okay, all right. You know, if you were, it's fine, and blah, blah, blah. I carried on being Liberace and went to gay bars and things like that there, very sneakily, that I shouldn't have done. And then for my 18th birthday, the local gay bar, it was called the Parliament. And I'd been out in town. I used to wear glitter and everything and sleeveless tops. And how I thought they didn't know I was gay, I have no idea. But I had myself convinced that they didn't know. I think had I come in and said that I was straight and that I had a girlfriend, they'd have been like, we need to sit you down and have a little bit of a chat because you're not. Right? So then I got to about 18 and I moved. I was at Performing Arts College and I moved out. And I thought, right, okay, I can tell my mum and dad I'm gay now because I have my own independence, I have my own house. Not that I thought that it would go bad, but so I was kind of sort of thinking, and I was still going out with Dawn at the time, and I thought, right, okay, let's see how this plays out. So my mum had got me Dale's Disco Divas. So Dale's Disco Divas, he is a radio DJ, and it was all like It's Raining Men and Gloria Gaynor, all this type of thing. And my sister had borrowed the CD and lost CD one, and I was taking an epileptic fit in the car of rage. And then my mum was driving me home, and she just said, because I was giving off about Dale's Disco Divas, and she goes, I'm only going to ask you this one more time. Are you gay? And I was like, yes, I am gay, but that does not excuse the fact that Catherine has my CD, and let's not deflect away from the fact that my CD is now missing and my other one is scratched, right? And my mum's like, oh, okay. And then she was like, why did you never tell me before? And did you think that you couldn't? And she was very hurt that I didn't tell her sooner. But I knew that it would probably be all right, but I just kind of didn't want to rock the boat in any way, shape, or form. And then I was like, I'm gonna have to tell Dad, and he's very sort of straight man and what have you. So Mum, and then I sort of said, I'm just gonna leave it for a while before I tell Dad. My mum couldn't hold her own water, so she had a couple of drinks, and then said some comment, and then she told Dad and what have you. So that was then I got a Dad arrived. Oh, I was at college at the time, so I was doing drag, and it was all very exciting. So I was doing drag, and there's wigs here and things there in my new house, and I get a rap tap tap on the door, and I stick my head out the window, and it's Dad, and like I have a wig there and a dress there, and like half a face of makeup on. So I'll be down in 2 minutes. So I was like trying to get this makeup off really quickly, and I was like, why is he here at this time in the morning? So he came down. I came downstairs, and then he's like, your mother has told me that you're gay, and blah blah blah, and that's fine, and we accept that, but I can't understand why you dress up as a woman. I can't understand why this, and it's a sad state of affairs that this is the only job that you can get in Belfast, and he said, if you love me, you'll not do this. And I said, well, if you love me, you'll let me do it. And I explained the reason why I did it. I worked in the fun side of the bar. I got paid a lot more money than people tending bars for a lot less work. And I was at college, and it was fun, and it was the whole thing I was doing. So then it all became fine. Mum and Dad would come to my shows. That was great. Every 2 minutes, my dad was getting me up to do numbers at parties and things like that there. Back in, let me see, about 15, probably about 15, 16, yeah, about 15 years ago, that whenever I moved out, Belfast is a very different place. We had just come out of the Troubles, and Belfast was a very kind of uneasy city. Still in ceasefire, but it could have like gone off at any time, and people didn't really venture out. People weren't different. My housemate and I, Conleth, we used to walk around the street in belly tops, hot pants, leg warmers. I had long blonde hair swishing it about, and we'd go to the local gay club, invent routines, do them on the stage, and we were known as the two dancing boys, and people used to be like, we used to just stand and watch you, because we would be on the stage dancing and having great fun and everything like that there. We matching outfits and everything like that. So, I mean, that was great fun. And Connacht is still one of my dearest friends now. So we kind of, I'm not saying that we paved the way, because there was a lot, people took a lot more risks than we did years before, so that we could do that. But we were very confident and comfortable within our own body, that we didn't really care what people shouted at us or said. So again, Liberace came out in me there. And then I started doing drag properly, full-time, paid career. Then I got to my 20s, and I was just having so much fun, and life was great, and then on, and things have been great. So I look back now, and I had wonderful parents, great network of friends around me. I had an awful, and I mean an awful time in secondary school. Nobody's real fault, but I just was a very misunderstood child, and I was put into the wrong school at the wrong time with the wrong teachers. So it's a real recipe, and it was off. I still dream about it. It's so bad that not a week goes by where I don't have dreams of being back at that school. It was terrible. But I mean, it's not to say that it made me the person I am, but it made me very kind of like, what up, yo? And I don't really care what anyone says or does or anything like that there, because I'm comfortable and happy within myself. I very much love who I am. I love being gay, because if I was straight, I wouldn't have done half the things I've done, achieved half the things I've done. I literally wouldn't be Liberace. I would not be behind the candelabra. I can't wait to see this movie whenever it comes out. I just think it's going to reek of my life. So yes, in sum up, my childhood was great. I had a rotten secondary school education. It was 5 years, but anyone going through anything like that, please understand that it is a small period of your life. If you live to 85, if you live to 90, if you live to 60, the time that you were at school and you're being bullied at is such a small window of what could be such an amazing, wonderful life. So don't give up on yourself, and don't give up on the people around you. It's just one of those things. But thankfully the education system now has moved on so much that everybody can be free to be whoever. So I know this is going to be a bit of a long video. It has been lovely chatting to you, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this if you have. If you switched off a while ago, I don't blame you, because my life's not really that exciting. So until this time next week, take care, be good, and just remember, be good at it. Please leave some comments below. You can find me on Twitter, Lady P and Nee. Until this time next week, I love you.
Our best days are yet to come, and our best race has yet to run. Hold on, 'cause our best days have yet to come.